all about women. It's all about trailblazing women who have broken barriers and continue to inspire change, because when women lead, the world transforms. Take a look at this.
Half the world is women, but power, still not half.
Not in boardrooms, not in parliaments, not in paychecks.
This is not just a moral question.
It is economic. Unlocking women's leadership could unlock trillions. For nations, for businesses, for futures. Tokenism is over. Real change needs policy, culture, systems that support.
And courage that leads. From corporate towers to grassroots movements.
From boardrooms to classrooms, women are rewriting the rules.
And showing what leadership looks like.
Women in leadership is not just balance.
It is strength.
It is society.
It is the future.
The playoff begins.
All right, and for this playoff, we have a very, very special panel. Let me please request Dr. Sarita Alawat, the MD and co-founder of Botlab Dynamics, to please take the stage. Ms. Vanessa Bachhofer, Managing Director, Mack & Schneider, please requesting her to take the stage. We also have Captain Zoya Agarwal, Senior Commander, Air India. Please take the stage. And Ms. Evelyn de Gruyter, MD, Association of German Women Entrepreneurs, to please take the stage. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here at the News9 Global Summit Germany edition 2025. And for this very special women's panel, we have a very special woman referee. Sakshi, take it away.
Thank you so much, Krishna. It's always empowering to have an all-women panel. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining the chat here. Dr. Alawat, let me first begin with you. I want to ask you why presence of a woman in the boardroom is not enough anymore, and what can we do to move beyond that, to have the actual presence?
Hi, first of all, I want to say thank you to the organizers for having me here. Since morning, it has been wonderful experience, lot of learning, and it's a really great mix of German and Indian counterparts. A lot of good experience for all of us, so I would like to say thank you. And one big round of applause for the organizers. They have worked tirelessly. The work actually shows in how many panels and talks you guys have organized. Thank you. So before I get to your question, just a little bit about us, what we do. So I am a co-founder of a startup called Botlab Dynamics from IIT Delhi. We are in robotics. We build drones. We are among the top 5 companies in the world now. We can fly thousands of drones simultaneously. Last year, we set 5 world record by flying 5,500 drones. But the unfortunate part is in my team of 250, which is mostly engineers, number of women representation as engineers is less than 10%. And if you look at it, since morning, we had more than 60 members speak here, and again, the women speakers were less than 10%. We're talking more about 5%. And it is really representing in when you talk about founders, boards, and unless we have that number come close to equal 50-50, you will not have that representation. Now coming to your question, what women can do. So if you look at, so there is a great opportunity, not even just for women, but overall for economy. So if you look at all the tech companies, whether it's Google, Meta, NVIDIA, the number of women are less. And as a result, products that are women-oriented is less. One big example is when Apple Watch came, they forgot the user would be women, and a lot of parameters were ignored. So if you have women representation in tech world, you can have products which are represented of women, and the economy can grow. Diversity, not just for the sake of diversity, but it could actually make great products and a lot of money for the countries and society.
Also, Vanessa, if I could ask you on that note, what could be some of the strategies that maybe we can inculcate in, the management aspect of it, of course, to move beyond tokenism, according to you?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here, and I'm really happy to be here on behalf of Mark & Schneider. That's my company, and we have Indian customers and automotive OEM, so really glad to be here, and also on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry here in the region of Stuttgart. Well, here in the region we have the situation that almost 75% of women are in the workplace, so that's a good news, but they are 50% of them are working part-time and not full-time. Closer? Okay. So, but only like 50% of them are working full-time, and the rest of them are working part-time. So, from the perspective of our regional economy, we need more women in the workplace because we have 40,000 jobs vacant at the moment due to demography, and it would be more. So within 10 years, I think we have 100,000 that are the estimations of job vacancies here in the region. So we need women in the workplace, and we need them to work full-time. So from our perspective, what's really important is, number one, the social infrastructure, so that you have daycare that you can rely on. That's still sort of a problem. And at the workplace, we need to have more flexible work schedules. So at my company, we have, I don't know, maybe 80 different work models, especially designed for women and for people who need to take care of their parents or their relatives or whoever needs care. And also we need to promote leadership in women, because if you look at the numbers, you have 50% of women working at my company, but they are working in low-income professions, and this is not what we need. We need women that lead teams, that lead companies, that study something like STEM, like technical engineering, something like this, and not only the social professions. And as well, we need people, women, men, whoever, who are working in the care sector as well.
Absolutely. Captain Zoya, let me take my next question to you. But before I do that, I just have to highlight that I was speaking to Vanessa and Evelyn earlier before we began the session. They were really excited to see you in your uniform. Sadly, that could not happen. But I think a par suit would do too. So, Captain Zoya, let me take my next question to you. It's not only about gender battle anymore, because we have race, sexuality also running in the same race. With all those aspects being in the very similar race, finding their own position in the boardroom, how do we tackle all of those challenges for us, for women?
Okay, thank you so much for having me here, to all the organizers. It's a wonderful themed event where you're highlighting a lot of things, but I'm sorry for disappointing all of you because I didn't show up in my uniform, but I promise I'll show you a picture of it before I leave. To start with, I want to ask a question from the audience. How many people over here either own companies, OWN, own the companies, or work for an organization, or invest in stock market? Can you just raise your hands? Okay, so quite a few, right? And would you want 25% more profit for your company, for your organization that you're working for, or the one that you own, or maybe 47% higher return on equity? Yes? No? Yes? Yes? Okay. So there you go. You need to hire more women and give them a higher leadership position. As per the study of McKinsey, as well as a Harvard case study, they reported that if you have women in key leadership roles, not the middle management, but key leadership roles, you can boost your financial projections by 25%. That's the McKinsey. And as per the Harvard study, if you have women in similar roles, your return on equity is 47% higher. Can you beat that? So I think the whole struggle is we have tokenisms, we have the reservation, quota, positive action, so many names, right? But what we don't have the ability, once we hire those people, to follow through, to really listen to them, to see the value they bring on the table, to see beyond the makeup and the power suits and the looks, and not label them. I think that's where the challenge lies. And so long as we can move beyond that and see women for the actual value they bring, the skill, the professionalism. For example, when I joined my organization quite some time back, I was the 5th pilot in the whole ecosystem. And I was the youngest. And I was this really bubbly girl with earrings and makeup on. And somebody asked me, like, we're not used to seeing girls like that with makeup on. And as stupid as it was, or call it dumb or call it naive, I don't know what it was, I told that person, get used to it. And after that, I had to prove myself for my work 200% harder than my male counterparts. But once I did that, the respect was permanent. But why does a woman have to do that? Why don't we start with status quo? And for that, I think if we come back, trace the steps backwards, is the problem is with us. It's not with the system. We often want to blame. The problem starts with us. That's the root. And unless we don't change the way we think, unless we don't change the way we perceive our children as boy or girl, things are not going to change. Because remember, dreams do not have a gender, neither do aspirations. Thank you.
That's a beautiful answer. That's a beautiful answer. Evelyn, do you agree with that? Because after having proven ourselves, we are still asking for a better space. We are still asking for a broader space.
Yes, I can only echo the words all three others said. My name is Evelyn de Gruyter. I'm heading the Association of Female Entrepreneurs in Germany. And the association was founded back in the 50s. Thank you. Back in the 50s. And our founder, she was the owner of a big steel mill. She tried to get access to other associations. The DIHK, BDA, BDI, those big industry associations here in Germany. And they said, oh, you should love women, but you shouldn't do business with them. And also, it's just a permanent thing after World War II. So she founded 30 other women, very well-known families here in Germany, like Balsen, the cookie company, and other very famous names. And they founded this association. And you know, back in the 50s, women in Germany still needed the permission of their husbands to go to work or to open up a bank account. So a lot of things changed, but there are still barriers to break. So I can echo what you said. I mean, we have to work on it, and it doesn't only help if we have women on the boards, but they also, the culture in the companies have to change so that they can really get through. And we need the female perspective in, especially in startups, because I mean, how can you leave out 50% of the population? And also what Vanessa said, we need also structural changes in the system, especially what when it comes to the combination of family and work-life balance. Thank you.
That's really interesting. And I take immense pleasure while I highlight that, you know, this is not just based on the gender that we are asking for better opportunities or more opportunities in the boardroom, but I will speak on the behalf of every female present in this newsroom. In fact, that we are asking on the basis of merit, right, Dr. Elawat? We are not asking you for the opportunities just because we are female. We can prove it to you. According to you, how can we also groom the younger women, the young girls for those bigger opportunities?
To bring equality, I think the numbers are not in our favor. So, I mean, if you look at stats in India, especially after 12th grade, a lot more girl students pass the exam, overall number, and even the number of girls who are topping exam 10th and 12th a lot more than the boys. But as the girls are graduating and then take post-graduation, then PhD and postdoc, and each stage we are losing certain number of female candidates. And when they come, they show up in the jobs. So to begin with, we have a very small ratio to work with. And then expecting that you have this 3% workforce or 5%, and I'm only talking about STEM. In that, expecting that, you know, these number of girls should become CEO or CTOs, then it's kind of putting that kind of expectation is not fair on your behalf to that girl. because she may not have, the kind of exposure or the skill set that you need as an organization. And now, in fact, to the lot of credit to the organization and academic institutions, even at IITs, in terms of opportunity, there are a lot equally female students and male students or engineers are treated equal. So I think the struggle is not at mentoring or giving an opportunity. The struggle is the entry point, the ratio is very skewed. You're talking 90 to 10 or 80 to 20 and expecting those 20 will outshine everyone, and there are very few Indra Nooyi or Kiran Majumdar. So those are less examples because you're dealing with smaller numbers. What I feel what can be and should be done, as my colleague talked about, making the work more encouraging, where women can work according to their needs, because there is a family and other things. So if the work start accommodating female social requirement or responsibilities. And I think those problems can solve. I mean, this is a very serious problem. And Europe has been developed for a very, very long time. And still Europe, US are struggling. Like how many CEOs in US leading the tech companies. And same goes in Europe and same is in India. So it's a very serious problem, and it has to go beyond this conversation at a root cause level. We need to address starting from school and addressing why women are falling behind, and then making it a norm that we address it.
Women do not want to be in the boardroom just because they're women and just to fulfill some quota or something and just to handle the women's topics. So that's the worst thing, is women talking about women's stuff. So when we're in the boardroom, we want to handle the topics that affect the whole company. We want to decide even in the technical departments, because our perspective is different and you have a market to win. So, how can we make them allies? Sometimes it helps if they have daughters, and so they start to understand how the world is for a female, for a woman. So that helps. And I had a very encouraging experience just today with one of my team leaders, because we had a conversation with a worker who was a bit uncomfortable with a male colleague, because she had some doubts. And it was very cute and very encouraging that my team leader said, okay, we have to take this serious. So this is nothing that we can just under the rug sweep. So no, we have to take it serious. We have to take care of this issue. And so this is what we need, that men are really allies to women, that they understand our struggles and that they propose solutions, and that they solve the problems together with us and not against us.
Captain Zoya, how do you think women leaders today, as you being one as well, are actually shaping the future for women leadership?
So representation is super important. I regret not wearing my uniform today. Not that I can possibly inspire any one of you to become a pilot anymore, but maybe I can actually. You never really know. But representation is important, because I think if you don't see me, you can't be me. So it's important, very powerful for role models, women who are already the CEOs or the CTOs or the leadership XYZ. Those women to go out there in schools, in places where they can create an impact on those young minds while they're still developing, and say that this is what you can be. So I'll give you an example. While I was doing my MBA at Columbia Business School, New York, a city like New York, which is so diverse, and you would think women would be so further ahead, but no, not really, not at all. So we have our nonprofit in India, which basically focuses on training young girls from disadvantaged backgrounds for aviation careers, like pilots, air traffic controllers, maintenance engineers. We had similar thing over there. And for that, I would go to a lot of schools where you would have people from disadvantaged and marginalized backgrounds. And once I was giving a boring lecture to young girls over there, a room full of them, and they were listening to me. And I asked them one question. They were probably so bored of my chatter. And I said, well, what do you want to become when you grow up? And they told me, I want to become Kim Kardashian. I want to become, this model and that model, because that's what they see. That's social media. That's everywhere. That's a representation for them. And then the school played my big picture in a Boeing 777 flight deck with me in the uniform. And they were like, oh my God, I want to be like you. And all of them were so fascinated with that thought that they can possibly do something like that and still look like a girl and still be fine, because that representation, I'm a pilot. You have her. If we go out there, this is power, and that represents change. I think this representation is important to change the future of tomorrow. Thank you.
Beautiful. And last but not the least, Evelyn, let me come back to you and ask you about, the role of government, of course, and the civil society in shaping a better landscape for women.
Yes, it's interesting because internationally it's all the same all over, and we as an association have the big honor to represent Germany within the W20, which belongs to the G20. And I had the honor to visit India back for the big G20 summit, and it's very important. I'm a little bit like you, Vanessa, that I say don't put women topics aside to an extra process, but it's so important to keep up the things we gained already, because we are facing a major backlash in the moment. I was attending the biggest UN conference in New York City this March, and the representative of the Vatican State, she said on the stage that women finally get back to their designated role of raising kids and caring for the family. And I mean, this is shocking. So we have to stand together also, that we don't face this backlash and keep on fighting.
Beautiful. And unfortunately, I have completely run out of time on this discussion here. I wish it could have gone a bit more longer than that. But thank you so much, ladies, for joining us here for the conversation. I will just quickly steal the line that Mr. Barun Das said yesterday, that all you beautiful women are the jewels to our crown. So thank you so much to all you jewels. Krishna, back to you.
As usual, requesting everybody, all the wonderful women on stage, to please stay on stage. And we have a couple of surprises. First up, I'm going to invite Mr. Deep Upadhyay of the TV9 Network.
But I believe, Krishna, Captain Zoya wants to say something.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry for interrupting Captain Zoya. Captain Zoya, please go ahead.
I just want to request every single one of you, and to all the social discussions and networking sessions that you may have in future, please encourage every single person to treat the woman in their house as with the utmost of respect, in terms of an equal, because that's what your children are going to see. Please treat the children the same, the boys and the girls. Teach them the same value system so that they can grow up and be a good human being and not a girl-oriented or a boy-oriented role, because if women are respected at home for breakfast on the dining table, they will be respected for a boardroom lunch later on in the boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Zoya, for that very strong and important message that needs to be heard loud and clear all across the world. Thank you so much for that, Captain Zoya. Thank you for that. And requesting all the wonderful ladies to stay back. I'm going to invite Mr. Deep Upadhyay of the TV9 Network to please take the stage and present the shawls from the TV9 Network first. And then we have a massive surprise from Stuttgart after that. Let's get done with the shawls first. Thank you, Deepji. Also, stay back with us, Deepji, on the stage. Okay, right, time now for a massive surprise from 4FB Stuttgart. The man who's going to present the scarves from Stuttgart side has been a legend of 4FB Stuttgart for 50 years. He was also the Europameister back in the year 1980. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Hansi Muller. Requesting our favorite Hansi to please present the VfB Stuttgart scarves. Right, quick photo op. All right, yes, and that's the shawl from our side, from the TV9 Network side for Hansi Muller. Ladies and gentlemen, huge round of applause for the legend Hansi Muller.